What is up, everybody? How we doing? Can you hear me? Welcome to Bushwhacking History in Buffalo with Berserker Bear. Bible reading Bear, good to see you. Sheila, can you guys hear me? We're going a little bit hip fire here, so bear with me. And a little bit of a lag. Okay, cool. Welcome, everybody. Just figured I'd go live. I got some ideas to put out there. Do a little prelude. If you see the thumbnail of what I got coming up from this book, we're gonna go through. Oh, you know what? Let's go through. I'm going to go through some pictures from that book that I came across as reading it that that pertain to Buffalo and the research that I do. We're going to go over some cool interactive maps that I have here that show old star forts and showing all these old maps against the our new world here. And I have this land plot little cool app of the city of Buffalo that shows all the land parcels and you know what do you see right there? Okay, let's hide that. And it's just going to be kind of a hodgepodge ping pong. I might even bushwhack my desktop here and go through Niagara Falls pictures, pictures of Buffalo. But mainly, I want to put out a idea that I have shared here on my IG most recent post. Again, this picture is from Echoes in the Mist, a book that I have on loan from a friend that I'll show you also on my IG. So you can get to my IG from my YouTube. Everybody in the chat, what's up? How long bear? Welcome, Glyph. Good to see you. Bible reading bear again. Hey Nate D Hood, what's up, bro? New Amsterdam. That's right. So I'll go back and forth. You guys have questions? Ask me. This is like open forum, you know, a chill session. But I am going to put out an idea. I'm going to prelude what I got going. Actually, matter of fact, if you see D Hood in the chat, say what's up. That's my local buff whom I mentioned here in this post that I cite. Okay. Now, what you're looking at right here is linked up with on the top of my where I just said you can get to my IG. I call it the top rocker. It means the top picture. Top rocker is kind of like it means like a top of a motorcycle patch. Okay. The top rocker picture on my YouTube. Oh, I'm not even sharing the screen here. Okay. My bad. What's up, y'all? Appreciate that, Glyph. We're gonna talk about that. Glyph just said that it was a good show with Woody and C. Vasilis. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And give a shout out to Woody, Wood and Nichols on that one. He took care of the editing and the presentation and all that. So thanks, Woody, and thank you, Glyph. I thought it was a good show too. I thought we hammered out some good points. We're gonna put a definition out there that I did mention in that cast also, which is what star forts really are as far as academics. So we're not scoffed off and laughed at when we say star fort, or I've had it happen to me already. What's a star fort? I know that we talk about that. Skull Asylum, what's up? I know we talk about in the research, mud flood, Tartaria. I've addressed the flippant nature of those, but star fort as well. A lot of people have identified that they are also bastion forts, but again, in reading this book, why I always say going back to the books, everybody. Certainly, the internet is good for research. Of course, I use it. I use Wikipedia, but if you have books, family members who want to get rid of them, check out those basements, check out those garages, because in reading this book, I found that definition of what these actually are. Academic, you'd say, or academia. So they are Vauban-style fortresses, and this guy had the market cornered. Here we go. So Sebastien Lepestier de Vauban. He was born May 15th, 1633, in France. Can't even begin to try to pronounce that. And he was a French you know what? Let me open this up more. Sorry, y'all. This is a gentleman that's accredited to uh, inventing or coming up with the star fort design of fortresses. He revolutionized the art. This guy had it made, the market cornered, if you will, revolutionized the art of siegecraft and defensive fortifications. So let's go check out the excerpt of the paragraph in this book here. And Fort Niagara, for reference, is also in this cool. I mean, I'm going back and forth, guys. There's no necessarily, I don't even have an outline, not even the gist of an outline. I kind of already said, well, no, I didn't say my point yet. Notice, though, that we have, okay, in Buffalo, there's not a star fort delineated for Buffalo on this map. And Fort Erie is up north of Buffalo, north of Niagara Falls. Excuse me, Fort Niagara is. And I'll show you how cool. Now, what you're looking at here is where the Niagara River empties into Lake Ontario. Sean and Non, what's up, y'all? And what it does is it shows a map of the time period and you can overlay it. Okay. Now, I'm going to be doing more of an in depth on this one on my Niagara Falls one. So I know you guys are probably salivating at the mouth, checking out how cool this application is, this website. I'm going to be doing a lot more on it. I've had this for a while. I've had all this stuff for a while. Okay, so this app is the city of Buffalo land plots. D Hood, you'll appreciate this. You could toggle them on and off parcels. Why, oh, why would they have that jutting up? We'll talk about it. Okay, so I've been sitting on these links and these sites for a while. It's exhausting trying to go through it and categorize it and archive it, but so we have all this at our fingertips for reference going forward. It's a lot to process and a lot to go through. So yeah, exactly. So D Hood, again, guys, say what's up. I will be sorry I didn't call you the other day, man. I work on the phone all day, man. Sometimes I just got to do some research. That said, D Hood, we will be going to not Old Fort Niagara. Soon enough we'll be going there. We are focused on Erie Basin Marina right now. Okay. And this is where you're looking at of Vauban-style fort. Fort Niagara is north. Buffalo is south. Niagara River. Old Fort Niagara is north. I know it's a little bit confusing, but let's just read this article that I found in this book, and it describes exactly the definition of star forts. Okay. Fort Niagara was enlarged and redesigned along the classical lines of a Vauban-style fortress. When I read that in the course of reading, again, my next video will be a reading of the first two chapters in this book, Echoes in the Mist, along with a montage of all the pictures in it. Okay. So when I was reading through that and I seen that term, obviously a light clicked over my head and I said, oh, okay. So star forts, bastion forts are this. And I did talk about it on the conversation I had with Woody and Vasilis. So boom, there goes another term defined for academically speaking. There we go. And if you in that video with Vasilis and I and Woody right here, my latest one, even Christopher Vasilis says that he never heard of that term before. So I'm not patting myself on the back, but I am going to state that if you do a search, Vauban style Fort and just do images. Very clearly, we see star forts are Vauban fortresses. Okay, so that said, reading through that, I get that definition. We're focused on the maybe if I was a little bit confusing earlier. Now this is southern Niagara River, the southern part. This would be the north part up here. The north part is where you have Old Fort Niagara, and there is another fort over here, quite a big one. Now, I'd like to this to be interactive and ask some people in the chat. Deprogrammer, what's up? At the heads and the emptying out of rivers, they always have these star forts or these bastion forts or Vauban-style forts. You have it right here. Boom, boom. This is a pretty big one. What's anomalous about Buffalo is that Buffalo doesn't have one on the Buffalo side, but I think it does actually, and that's what where you get my title from, Vanishing. And I want to blow your guys' minds real quick. Because in the course of reading, times I'm going to say that. This is the Buffalo Harbor. We're going to read this excerpt. This is in that book also. The Port of Buffalo burgeoned with the opening of the Erie Canal in 1825. I did a video on that. Buffalo was the western terminal of the canal, which provided an inland waterway from New York City to Lake Erie and on to the Midwest by way of the Great Lakes, courtesy of J. Carl Burke Studio. So that's why it's the western door. This was the actual entrance in when the French came and the British came down the St. Lawrence Freeway or St. Lawrence River. You had to, in order to get into the interior for the fur trade and everything, effectively, it was coming through this, coming down the St. Lawrence into Ontario, and this is going to be all detailed in that book that I'm going to read. So again, this is kind of a hodgepodge, but Buffalo was or this area, the Niagara region, or the Western Door, if you will, was the linchpin for the entrance into that lucrative fur trade. So very important. The French had it early 1700s, mid 1700s, and into the late 1700s is where the English started coming in through Oswego in the underbelly, if you will. And then you have the War of 1812, and English took over, and then the rest is history. Well, we have also the Revolutionary War, but that's all intermingled, and we will address all of that. But I'm laying a groundwork here, and if nothing else, everything that I put out here is a compendium of work that I can reference going forward, because I think that I'm going to reference some of my old videos now or in the course of this. Anyway, let's get back to what I'm trying to get at here. So we identified that we got Vauban-style star forts all around. Well, there's one here in Fort Erie, and there's one missing in Buffalo. There's not one delineated as far as star forts go, Vauban-style forts for Buffalo, even though they are always at the heads of rivers and the bottom of rivers, or where they empty out into. And what I'm going to propose is that I've said that it might be a Phoenician-looking port, but I believe that that Buffalo port was actually is a disassembled star fort, and that's kind of the work that I'm going to try to put forward here. Now let's read what I said, and let's look at the picture in this book that we see. We read that. Now, on the top rocker of my YouTube channel, this is where we're looking at. You see that triangle right there? I've always said that it looks like it's a matter of fact. I didn't have these ready, but let's pull them up. Buffalo maps, 4K zoomable. So this is an 1880 map of city of Buffalo. I've used it quite a few times before. Look at the bottom. Now, it does look star shapy, but they're buildings. Okay. When I came across this picture on my IG, I was like, whoa, whoa, wait, there looks to be some structure underneath there. Now, what I'm saying and what I'm going to propose here, and I got a whole bunch of work to do to try to figure this out because I'm not going to claim anything right now, but I'm gonna propose a proposition to quote Scarface. Rufus is Payne, what's up? Carl Hido, what is up? Good to see you guys. Bear with me. I'm just getting my bearings. I just want to put this out there. We already defined Vauban-style star forts. You're looking at on screen right now the harbor of Buffalo, Erie Basin Marina. Buffalo was New Amsterdam back in the day. This is, I believe, a Vauban-style fort, which would have been right here in the basin. It is not delineated on any maps of the time, and we're going to go over that right now or before, but it is. Let's show you guys what else I have here. There goes the land plots. Okay. Number one, this is actually the cityofbuffalo.com land plot parcels. You have a jutting out perpendicular triangle here. That's weird. I know the shoreline was definitely changed. We're going to go over that. This is an atlas from, oh goodness, like 1902. You start to lose the shape. They try to, or not they, it's being obfuscated. It's being hidden. Also, okay, this is the silver tuna. Let's see, where is it? I have some cool, I like to show some clips also. That's the one, Marv. That's the silver tuna. You guys remember what that's from? A movie? Anyway, okay, this is an 1888 Buffalo, New York Industrial Fair paper. It's in a book effectively on archive.org. Now, this is the only cityscape or regionscape that I can find that has an X marks the spot. Do you guys see it? Okay, so this is very important, this one. It's a map of the Niagara frontier during the War of 1812, and I have gone over this before in the previous video. I should have actually figured out which video it was, but we can track back to it. Oh, jeez. I know I'm kind of going back and forth here, but sorry, guys. So we have Fort Erie delineated right here, okay? And there definitely is a star fort there that somebody's living in. This is Old Fort Erie. It's delineated, so, but it's not reflected. It is in this map on this regionscape right here. There's an X right in the city of Buffalo, and that's what I think. So I think that they forgot to remove this actually because mainstream says that there, or the history of Buffalo says that there was no like Star Fort or a Bastion Fort right there. It was just a radial street pattern that was made by Ellicott in 1804, and I've went over that. This shows that there was a Star Fort there, and it looks like it was absolutely massive because remember you got this on the land plots, and then you got pictures like this. So what I think is happening here, they erect these wooden roller coaster type cart things around it, make it look like a building or whatever. Number one, it hides it at the time, and they are disassembling it in rail carts, and that looks like a massive structure. Okay, and you got almost like a chimney thing here. I think that there is a bastion fort behind this apparatus, and it's being hidden. So that's the type of work that I want to put out here, or that's the type of work that I have to do. I got a lot of sleuthing, and I do have a partner in crime, which again is D Hood. Good to see you. And what they would do is they would not necessarily mine this stuff, but there's a chimney video that I want to show you guys. And what chimneys, the second purpose of what chimneys are for. I showed it before on an interview with Philip Druzinin, but there's a second less known feature of chimneys. It's not just to get the smoke up and out. You can actually harvest minerals from them. And I'm not sure why I can't find it right now, but just bear with me. As a matter of fact, let's do this while I find it. Let's watch Berserker Mario, and I'll find the next clip. Thanks everybody for coming by. Again, it's a little bit of a ping pong session. I didn't really have a outline or whatever. This isn't a quintessential bushwhacking buffalo, but I had felt compelled to get this idea out for you. So thanks for stopping by. Here's Berserker Mario. Can you guys hear that? Right quick? Y'all with me?
Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh!
Thank you, Mario, but our princess is in another...
We've got to get out of here! Stand your ground, brother! No! Please! We need to get out of here. Stop the car. I said get in the fucking car! Go, 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 go!
Hilarious. I can't seem to find that right now. Chimney. So what they do is they burn them and oh, whatever, I'll find it afterwards. It's not really a part of the presentation anyway. So what you're looking at is there's Star Fort of Old Fort Niagara. There's not, let's look at these old maps actually. We got that one. We also have bear with me. 1902 coming up. So this 1902 one also has the star shape, right? What do you guys think? I mean, looks like a star. Or should I say Vauban-style? You guys can hear me? Okay. So yeah, buildings though. Buildings hiding it. And bear with me, y'all. Maps of the time period. All right, so this is a map, old school map, where it shows Fort Erie. Okay, this is important here. So this one delineates Fort Erie. And okay, this is 1771. And it's indicating that there is the X there for Fort Erie. The next one is in chronological order. That's not that good. Trying to explain the fact that the Buffalo Star Fort is not delineated on old maps, but it was there on this one, or it is there on this one, and I think again they forgot to censor it. So effectively, D Hood, we have work to do to go and find that. Now, what I'm going to show you guys is this. This is what they say that thing is, or the piers. This is a construction photo, effectively. And this is in the Buffalo Harbor. Buffalo, as the Queen City of the Lakes, possesses one of the finest harbors in the country. Vessels are here offered ample protection by a breakwater 7,600 feet long and a shore arm of pile and crib work 4,100 feet long. A project for the improvement of this harbor was adopted in 1826 as modified at various times. See, that's very confusing. And they're talking about infrastructure that made this whole pier right here. I've fished off this many times and I've always tried to find construction of it. So that this is it right here. Just for your reference. Okay. 7,600 feet long and 4,100 feet long. A project for the improvement of this harbor was adopted in 1826 and, as modified at various times, provided for the construction of piers on the north and south sides of Buffalo Creek, which is now Buffalo River. Okay, on the north side is going to be the Erie Basin Marina, the old Buffalo Harbor that we've seen the disassembled or being disassembled Star Fort. What do you guys think about that? The men look like drawings. Yeah, let's get back to that. Check that out, y'all. It's kind of gravy I'm talking about. So again, there's no little open-ended here. I'm sorry if I'm going back and forth, but I had to lay out that definition and get it on a video, not just put it on a collaboration one with Woody. And I wanted to prelude that D Hood and I are going to be getting to this place because we can go fishing here. And when you drive underneath to get in the spot where we fish at, okay, you also have the henge that's right in this area that I've been at. And let's actually show you that. This is the kind of why I need to have a outline. I'm going all over the place, but I've been Erie Basin Marina. Okay, so what's right here? Boom, 3D. There is a henge, and that is considered a henge because it's not just that one megalithic stone, it's all of them around it. Now, I think that that's delineating what they're taking down here. They say mainstream is that it's a memorializing the what's it, the food famine or the potato famine. Let's just show. Those pics for you. That's it. That henge right there. Very significant. I've caught fish right there. Buffalo is the only city in the northeast of Rust Belt cities that have sunset over the water. Very important esoterically, occult also. Okay, so I think that this is more like a dual purpose thing, like a literal double entendre, where it does memorialize the Irish potato famine, but I also think that it's signifying the center of the old alleged Vauban-style fortress that was here that seems to be hidden academic. Um, in the mainstream, they're not telling us about that because they probably disassembled the whole entire thing. And after I do the reading from this book of the first two chapters, which will actually do the falls, because we're going to go there. I got to go to the falls. Check this out. This is what I'm going to try to find at the falls, guys. and I'll show you another video about that. Okay, now you have everything delineated here, down to the lower river, the canal right here, rock, bedrock, whatever bedrock is. You have the tunnel delineated. Does anybody see anything that sticks out to them? This is the interactive portion of it. Aurora, New York also has sunset over Cayuga Lake. That's not so. So the Grammar, that wouldn't be. That's not considered a true sunset over water. Exact or the tunnel. Yeah, D Hood. So here we go. Comment says Aurora, New York also has sunset over Cayuga Lake. There's a lot going on in Aurora. I'll bet there is, for sure. There has to be over a couple, maybe like 50 miles of stretch, so there's not a land behind it. That's what constitutes a sunset over a sea. Effectively, these are inland seas. You know what? I'm going to play that right now. So yeah, I have Niagara Falls to do. I'm going to read the first 2 chapters from that to lay the groundwork. So my next video, I'm going to have, it's just going to be a reading. I was going to put them both together, but obviously you can see this is pretty long. So it's going to be, it'll lay the historical context for you, because it tells the history of what I was just describing about the fur trade and the Western door. The French were in cahoots with, or not in cahoots with, the Iroquois with the fur trade, mid 1700s, and they had Niagara River on lock. And one of my other things I want to do, because again, this is a compendium of work here, guys. I can't just give you all the answers in one video. And I appreciate all of your feedback and support, but there's just so much to do. Falls. What was I going to say there? Okay. Yep. I have to lay the groundwork. And I think one of my other propositions is the generator building. That's the Canadian Power Authority, this old one right here. That's in the actual basin of the gorge. In my opinion, I think this might have been here when we first arrived on scene. And that's going to be described in the next video, but this type of stuff that I'm getting at here. So from Niagara Falls to Buffalo, this is the type of history that I have to unearth. And thankfully I do have, yeah, the Dutch, that's right. So D Hood says the Dutch, and that's the actual company that did purchase this land from the Iroquois and the Seneca Confederation. It was called the Holland Land Company, and that's what we're going to be getting into. Number one, they're defined as a Dutch syndicate, actually. So that will be the next one. And I do believe that this X right here is delineating that Vauban-style fortress. It's no longer visible. It's not delineated on any other maps of the time period or before. And if that's the case, then there's going to be, maybe I got to pump that one. There's going to be this type of style. So I think that this picture says that they're building the pier, but I think that that's, you know what? Where is it?
You serious?
That's what I think about that. I think this picture is probably taken from within this thing. Because what is that? I mean, I'm not a history major, okay? It's quite possible. I know rail carts were done, and they had grain silos here. There's a lot of grain mills. So I could be mistaken, certainly. That's why I'm not claiming that I know this. But it certainly does look like there's something. Can you guys give me some feedback here? You see how they have the rail set up on this side in this picture, but it's not on the other side. But in the one in the book, looks like it's got rails on both sides. Do you guys think that that's covering something possibly? I mean, is that am I completely talking crazy here? Can I get some little bit of feedback? That's why I like going live. Appreciate that, Depro. Looks like there's infrastructure behind that. So I think that these homies are, yeah, those dudes do look drawn in without a doubt. I believe that might even be the case. I mean, give me a break. Even the stuff in the background, but you know, for a pier, look at this brickwork. It's it's quite possible that the southern part of the city of Buffalo, the Erie Basin Marina. Let's get back to those pictures, huh? Is a Vauban-style, disassembled Vauban-style star fort. Let's go back to that. The henge at the Erie Basin Marina. So those are definitely poured. That's also the outer harbor. I think that that's right where the old star fort was. So again, who said I got to remove these things on the screen? Yeah, I know, right, Sheila? What are they looking at? This is said that it's a construction photo, and there's so in the reading of this before and after when I was reading excerpts, it doesn't even delineate or it doesn't even describe in detail what this is. All it does is say that it's a construction photo. So yeah, what's being hidden here, I think, is a massive fortress that was here. I thought maybe that this could be an ancient Kothan ring port hidden. No, it actually looks like it's a disassembled Vauban-style. And the importance of that, I'll show you right now. So bear with me, and I appreciate your patience because this was just last minute type of deal. We're going to watch a video that explains why Buffalo is the coolest city in the Northeast Rust Belt industry left behind.
Well, one of the great things that Lake Erie gives us is this oceanic view over 200 miles of water to the west. It's just spectacular to sit out there and watch the sunset over the water, and that's something no one else in the eastern U.S. has, because all our other cities, Boston, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, they don't have sunsets over the water. We do. Eastern U.S. has, because all our other cities, Boston, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, they don't have sunsets over the water. We do.
It's Buffalo for you. Also, another cool thing about it is the water and the minerals in the water. Dough rises here in Buffalo really well because the minerals in the water.
That served about 100. The intake is a facility which takes in all the fresh water into the city of Buffalo. Comes through that structure. It's a 3-story structure. Actually, it was a manned facility back in the day. The reason for this is there was ice accumulation along the perimeter of the structure, and this had to be removed. And this occurred until probably the 50s when the ice boom was installed. You go in, it has a center well where all the fresh water comes into, settles, very quiescent. In fact, that location where the intake is now currently is called the Emerald Channel. The reason is because of the clarity of the water. It's really an ideal. The intake is now currently is called the Emerald Channel. The intake is now currently is called the Emerald Channel. The reason is because of the clarity of the water. It's really an ideal location for an intake. The first step in the treatment process is really having an ideal raw water source. In fact, this is the second intake that was installed for the city of Buffalo. The first.
Guys, okay, pay attention to this one. This is where the interactive nature comes in here. And I've had this before. I've showed this before. I want you guys to hear what he says about why they had to change it from the first water intake under the Peace Bridge to this one. And what do you think about it? Because I call BS.
First one was installed. The reason it is because of the clarity of the water. It's really an ideal location for an intake. The first step in the treatment process is really having an ideal raw water source. In fact, this is the second intake that was installed for the city of Buffalo. The first one was installed right below the Peace Bridge, and that served for about 20 years until there was a pollution epidemic, actually a typhoid epidemic that came down through the influence of surface water. Once this happened, the city of Buffalo realized the epidemic that came down.
Wait, what was that, homie? Let's go again with that.
Actually a typhoid epidemic that came down through the influence of surface water. Once this happened, the city of Buffalo realized it needed another location. And after surveying, looking at how the river flows and interacts between Lake Erie and Niagara, that location was chosen because it's the most quiescent area in the river, and it's an ideal source. So once you go out there, it's actually called that Emerald Channel because the water has an emerald look to it. You can see that not only outside the facility, but also inside in that center well. Also,
wait, did he say that it came down through the affluent or through surface water in that current? Hold up, let me get this one out.
I have to ask my accountant about that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that one. And we have another. I'm all over the map here.
that
Now this has to do with the minerals, riddles in the water.
that served about 150 million gallons per day into the city of Buffalo. We're about half that now, but still all the water that goes into the city comes through that structure. When you look at the intake, there are 8 gates on the perimeter, and that allows the water from Lake Erie to come into that center well. And there's an open water reservoir in the center of that intake. That water then, which is very quiescent, enters into a center shaft. There's 4 gates that allows that. That center shaft goes down 50 feet into bedrock. It's a 12-foot diameter shaft, and then it meets a 12-foot or 12 by 12 tunnel 50 feet below the lake bed, and that has been tunneled, mined, under
Come again?
Lake Erie, and it goes from the intake structure all the way to Colonel Ward, which is about a mile offshore. At that point, the tunnel comes back up vertically. The water that enters our treatment plant, it is pumped one more time, lifted about 20 feet, and it goes through our process of treatment by gravity. So really, it goes from the lake through the intake tunnel, through 12 by 12 concrete tunnel underground into our plant, and it's only lifted one time, 20 feet, and then by gravity again, and then it's pumped one more time and pressurized, and that's what you see at the tap. A little.
Welcome, Sean Osborne. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. So another facet, another feature of the area here, not just the Niagara Falls, possibly buried power plants. I'm going to show you a clip on that one too. I'm trying to prelude and ladle some gravy here to keep you guys attentive and with some content coming out here. So let's track back to what I got going on. D Hood and I, who you've seen me throwing up his turtleneck, right? That crushing turtleneck. We're going to be getting there. So what we're going to do is, so Danny, when you go into that marina, again, where I fished over here before, not Danny and I, but me and my homies, of course, I'm not sure you fished, Danny, right? Anyway, when you go in there, dude, right underneath here is where all that gravy is. There's a old railway running through here, and it's the old Erie Canal. So there's going to be some serious. Let's get a 3D and let's see actually if there's Sorry if there's a little bit of a lag. I got a lot of windows open. That shouldn't matter, but I do have an Ethernet cable. Shout out to Ethernet Gary, Oil Bear. Okay, here we go. Like there's some serious stuff in here underneath. And this is where we're going to go. Because you know what? Actually, let's show our other rendezvous. So where we were before, Danny and I, we were over by the Peace Bridge. Okay. And we were checking out that other tunnel. Right along this little strip, there's a right next to this throughway, there's a Amtrak, and we were on those tracks over here, checking out that other old tunnel in between. Look at what it says in this map, guys. This is an 1888 fair about Buffalo. All right, it's a fair paper. So not only do you have X marks the spot for a vanished Vauban-style fortress, you also have earthworks delineated right here. Now, where that is, and I've showed this before, guys, is all this gravy action going on over here with the foot of Porter, where I showed those crazy waves a couple weeks ago from the Seiche video. So there's some serious gravy in this area. Now, where Danny and I were a couple months ago is right underneath this part right here. And if you keep going, we can just get right down these tracks. Is why I'm saying this. You can get to the Erie Basin Marina, old foundation infrastructure. So we got to find our way in there, Danny. Oh, wow. Awesome. Thank you, Bible Reading Bear. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. There you go. Awesome. Yeah, we got some work to do. Danny, I want to go there. My other buddy, Tommy, who I did the Eternal Flame with, is going to hook up with me and we're going to go to the falls and do work there. And then I also have another buddy that I did Lockport with, Robbie Radbear, who lives just outside of Rochester. So effectively, you know, this whole area is my stomping ground, Western Door, which is west of the Genesee River. Okay. And I'll never stop. So let's look up some more cool stuff. All right. So the Star Fort, alleged Star Fort at the southern tip of Buffalo and the Erie Basin Marina. Danny and I are going to check that out. I think that we're looking at right there is in the process of being dismantled Vauban-style fortress that is not told to us in history. Is not told. It's hidden. The only thing that I could find where it is addressed is this little clip right here, and I'll show you the actual fair paper that it's from. And you can get it from archive.org. I can't guarantee that I leave the links in the description because I always say that and I get lazy. But okay, we got Buffalo Express from 1888, guys. Got the World's Fair in there. You have the actual City of Buffalo land plot application here, and it's jutting out into Lake Erie. That's a cool. I'm going to be using that overlay link site on my in-depth Niagara Falls one. So the next video is going to be a reading from Niagara Falls, Echoes in the Mist. And you know what? Let's give a shout out to that gentleman right now. Well, what may be confusing is that I met an author before, which is the author of a different book that my wife found. You guys should be up to date on that. Shadows of the Western Door. Now, the author of that book is Mason Winfield, and I had the pleasure of communicating with him and meeting him a while back. He is the author of Shadows of the Western Door. And I also met a fan of mine who's from Buffalo, not Danny Malachi Crunch, but a gentleman, John Haran, who, John, I want to give you a shout out, sir. Thank you very much for letting me borrow the book. Oh boy, how far back are we? Okay, so this is Mason Winfield. He is the author of Shadows of the Western Door. Had the privilege of meeting him. He offered his help as far as research goes. He's got some gravy on possibly ancient America being settled 1000 BC. He actually has told me that he knew Barry Fell, the Harvard archaeologist who allegedly found Phoenician artifacts at Mystery Hill. This gentleman right here knows him and met him and gave credence to his work. He just said that he wasn't able to put out a solid body of evidence for it. So I'll pick up where Barry Fell left off, and I'll report back on that. Mason Winfield was a really cool dude, and RV Truth, shout out to you. Please don't give me slack for meeting with a Mason. His name is Mason. Okay. That said, and another gentleman who got in contact with me as being a fan of my channel, again, his name is John, was this gentleman. Now, he is the owner of a used book dealership here in Buffalo. And again, I got this book on loan from him. So I will be touching base back with John. Very good man, very interested in this type of research. So in my Gulliver's Travels, I've been meeting some people and just trying to keep it going forward. I know I'm kind of all over the place sometimes with my videos, even with my presentation. I'm not as polished as some other people are, but your support. Oh, see, Vasilis, what's up, brother? That was a great conversation, man. Everybody check out and give some love to C. Vasilis Christopher, whom I had a chat with, and Woody a couple days ago. That was a really good talk, and hopefully it will be the first of many. So yeah, thank you. Hit that like button, y'all. Yeah, John, thank you very much. I'll be getting this book back as soon as possible, but to ladle some more out, we're going to be reading. And I'll just show you, you know what? I'm too nice, you guys. All right, so we addressed the Vauban-style. Old Fort Niagara was enlarged, and it was redesigned by the classical lines of the Vauban-style fortress. Boom. And I also wanted to, I won't forget the Danny Malachi Crunch one, but I got 150 pictures from this book. And let's just do a little bit of ladle. All the way on the far left, you see the Tarpon Tower, or Terrapin Tower. I don't want to show you too many because, again, I'm going to show this montage and read that excerpt. But here you go. That's Old Fort Niagara. Does that look similar? Let's see. So, Chris, see, Vasilis, you came in a little bit late, man. What I think that we're looking at right here now, this picture is in that book that I just cited, Echoes in the Mist, and this is Buffalo Harbor. I also have it depicted in the top picture on my YouTube channel here. You see that star shape? Oh man, I closed that window. Getting a little bit too ambitious. That star shape right there is what we're looking at in this book. And I want to know what you think about that. I know, see Vasilis, exactly. What I think that we're seeing here is, I believe that that's an old Vauban-style fort, and it's being disassembled. It's in the process of being hidden and disassembled. And the only place that I can find that picture is located, per historical references and maps, is in this really indiscreet. Yeah, I got too many windows open. It's real bad right now. You know what? Let's do this. It's hip fire, so bear with me. where is it? I'll figure. Flat Earth Buffalo. There you go. Yeah, Stephen Lynch, you're borderline on getting a timeout with that. I don't know where to join. I'm not on Facebook, but okay, I forgot what I was doing here. Getting that Star Fort. We're going over tracking back. Sorry. Anyway, okay, here goes Danny. Had to hop some fences to get to here now. Where this is that juice tunnel in between Old Fort Porter and the pumping station underneath the Peace Bridge. So, and what was I just talking about, guys? Welcome, or as I was going to show Vasilis something that I was just talking about. Juicy, yeah. It's the devil established, yeah. Let's see. In hindsight, I can't help but feel it'd be chocolate covered starfish. Okay, so what else do I got going on here? All right, we're going to be back at that location, Danny, soon. Tommy. All right, we got that. John, I will get that book back to you. Truth Drops, you want to come over to my IG? I reflect, or the type of work that I put on YouTube, I mirror over here. You know, you'll see my post. I also do cool pop culture truth drops, if you will. So you'll definitely get some gravy over here. I prelude the videos that I put out. If I think something's cool, I'll drop it. Shout out to Static, good researcher. For example, got cool stuff like this.
Walking on fighting side of me.
Let me preface this. This is just a comical thing that you might find if you go to my IG. Now, obviously, it's a white boy singing, and they're both fishing. And it's fitting in that you have the oblivious white boy who doesn't know what's going on, just chilling, probably twanging out on his air guitar, and the brother who's always, you know, they always know what's going on. They're always looking at what's up around the bend. He can sense that something's coming up, and the oblivious hillbilly is like, "Nah, dude, we're good."
It's a bridge. Just goes around the corner. Walking on fighting side of me.
That don't look like it.
It don't. It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
No, it don't.
It do go down.
Oh! It's a bridge.
It do go down. Okay, so yeah, you'll get stuff like that. Movie. I like to drop movies every so often if I think of one of my old school music songs that I like to listen to. So that's the type of stuff you'll get over there. I appreciate if you come by and follow me, because you will get some more research information. So the southern tip of the city of Buffalo. Okay, it's the Erie Basin Marina. I've been there before. It's got the Stonehenge, or the henge of the Irish potato famine memorial. God bless all those souls, those faithful souls. Rest in peace. But Danny and I are going to get there. Okay, so I got work to do from Erie Basin Marina all the way up to Niagara Falls, and I have a lot of cool apps to show you and share with you. My next video, I'll do a reading from that book. So what else? You guys got any questions on anything? Danny, what's up, buddy? Now it'll just kind of be like an open forum hang. I got really nothing else to show you guys, unless I could find some cool stuff. So just bear with me, and we'll try to get some interesting fodder here. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to show you this video about Ladle Some Gravy about the Niagara Falls Power Station. And this video I found a while ago, about a year and a half ago on YouTube, and the channel is no longer here. It was called The Point of Peripety, and this is what gave me the idea that possibly that Canadian power plant up at the falls, the one that's actually in the gorge, is going to be showcased right now in this video clip that I'm going to show you. And this guy suspects that these things, not just this one, but the old Shokov dams that I did in Bushwhacking #5 about Tesla and the falls, he thinks all the old buildings that were in here were all buried, and I think that he might be right. So I got that work to do. And if I could show that being in with a companion of my work, if I can show Buffalo as a epitome of an old world city, that's what my goal is. That's what I'm put here to do. So let's watch that, and I'm going to show you some other stuff, and we'll tail it out. I don't want to go too crazy here. All right, possibly buried power plants at the old world buried power plants at Niagara Falls. Could it be?
Tesla is a little bit like this. Tesla is a little bit like this. After all, how many people have actually read the works of Tesla? His notebooks, his patents, his designs, and completely understood all the things that he created. I don't know if that's fair. It's very hypothetical and speculative for me to say that, but there's a reason. So this might sound wild, but I think that alternating current, something discovered by Tesla, was actually something that was rediscovered from a past era. So if you look into the history of Niagara Falls and the Shokov Power Station, go look at the old pictures and look at the Shokov Power buildings in particular. And I'll tell you what I saw when I looked at the various pictures. You have this old picture which shows all the old industry at the top of the falls, nice and neatly. The water from the canal was actually used and channeled into these different manufacturing businesses. But here we have a very early picture showing industry and harnessing of the falls. And then only until about supposedly 1905 do these buildings show up. And these buildings, I stand to be corrected, are not in the old pictures. So the other question is, where's photos of construction of the Shokov power plant buildings? I can't find them. And these are old buildings. They look like they could even predate 1905. And construction of them, supposing they were built at the beginning of 1905, well, there should be evidence of this. This is a heavily documented, iconic Niagara Falls. I mean, my goodness, there's 1905. And construction of them, supposing they were built at the beginning of 1905, well, there should be evidence of this. This is a heavily documented, iconic.
Excellent point. Very, very, very good point.
Niagara Falls. I mean, my goodness, there's thousands of pictures of this place. So there should be pictures of construction of these Shokov buildings. Now, that would be a pretty amazing sight to see as well, because for these buildings to have been built, that would have been a major engineering feat to construct them, perhaps to even stop the flow of water, to bring down heavy equipment to build these buildings, concrete forms and rebar and crane, all this kind of stuff. It would have taken years to build these things. So I don't really see evidence showing this. And here's these mysterious pictures of, to start with, you have industry and the Shokov buildings are not present. Then this other photographic evidence that suggests these buildings were built in 1905. I'll tell you what I think happened. I'm going to get right to the point. I think it's possible that the Shokov buildings at a previous time were buried underneath the rubble at the bottom of the falls. So they were Shokov buildings at a previous time were buried underneath the rubble at the bottom of the falls. So they were ancient buildings. Then perhaps maybe with heavy equipment, cranes, I don't know, the rubble was removed. And oh my goodness, there's actually buildings under there. And maybe it's from a prehistoric colonial type of buildings that actually is part of the power generation of the falls. That's what I think. That's just what I speculate. I'm not 100% certain of this. So this isn't a video to state things as fact. This is really a speculative kind of video that I'm looking for input from people.
See, that guy gets it because he's saying that it's speculative. Now, a lot of people like to raise the red flag when you don't want to make a claim or say it's one thing or another, again, like melt or, I cannot stand that as far as being told that I have to make a decision one way or another. Some people like to put that out there. I'm not about that whatsoever. I really appreciate when people say it's their opinion. Um, Speculation like that gentleman just said. So what he was saying is that these buildings that were here back in the day, this all could have been. Now, when he says civilization for colonial, whatever, I think that the civilization that was here, if anything, I'm gonna go off the back of Barry Fell. As a matter of fact, let's do that. Barry Fell is an archaeologist, Harvard archaeologist, who was putting forth ideas that there was Basques, Phoenicians here in the New World, 1K BC. This is ping pong. Let's just do it.
Harvard archaeologist Barry Fell has.
Let's do the compendium. Let's show everything. Let's do it live.
Harvard archaeologist Barry Fell has spent years studying inscriptions and drawings from Mystery Hill and other unexplained ruins in North America.
Now, what about some of these inscriptions that have been found? What do they indicate in terms of people's presences in this area? Where are they from?
Well, they really tell us that America in ancient times was a melting pot of the races of Europe, just as it is today. Same peoples from all parts of Europe and North Africa, living together, even speaking their own languages side by side, and writing their own inscriptions and their own writing systems.
What people came here?
Basques from Portugal, Celts from Spain and Portugal, Phoenicians from Carthage and probably from Phoenicia itself in Syria, and ancient Egyptian traders too.
Why do you think these people came here?
Probably initially by accident. Fishermen, you know, the Portuguese people are wonderful deep-sea fishermen, and inevitably a fisherman is going to be blown away from land in storm. A fisherman knows how to look after himself when he's blown out to sea, and in modern times, very long voyages have been performed that way. So initially accidentally, later deliberately.
Could it be? I mean, that gentleman is a Harvard archaeologist. He passed away in '94, I believe.
Pursue another line.
In other words, there's no doubt in your mind that ancient people...
He and Fell pursue another line.
In other words, there's no doubt in your mind that ancient people from the Mediterranean area came and settled in New England, among other places.
No doubt at all. They probably settled all that part of North America that could be reached by ship. That is to say, the whole Mississippi Valley and the branches of the Mississippi.
The Mediterranean. At one time, Knossos was her capital, a jewel-like city on the island of Crete. All that's left now are the weather-worn ruins of graceful temples, courtyards, and apartments. Noans. They were heirs to Phoenicians here from what is now left of music and art almost as much as they loved the sea. They must have gloried in all its aspects.
The sea. Keep
the
that
sea
in mind.
The Minoans' power and wealth.
Got another post on IG I want to show you guys. I'm glad that I'm doing this because it's bringing up, it's hitting my memory. Okay, so there you go, Barry Fell.
Strange visitors to the New World.
Professor Fell, how do your colleagues at Harvard feel about these amazing discoveries you've made?
Very mixed feelings. My closest colleagues, who of course support my work and assist me in it, have very positive feelings, and some other colleagues, more particularly concerned with traditional aspects of archaeology, so far have not supported my opinions.
Well, how did the ancient Phoenicians get here?
They had ships, Dr. Halser, better than those available to Columbus. Here is a carving of the hull of one of them that we found at Mount Hope, Rhode Island. We have one other carving from another part of North America. And then...
Okay, so yeah, he thinks that the Phoenicians were here, the Basques were here. Very interesting, and I'll follow up on that because let's cite, shout out to Michelle Gibson, one of her videos from a couple weeks ago about Jamestown. And let's read my comment here. And it says, that port at 15 minutes in looks vaguely similar to a Phoenician Kothon port, ring port. Many of the Northeast cities on the shores of the Great Lakes have similar layouts, like Cleveland, Buffalo, Chicago. Wonder if they actually were Kothon ports 1.5 years ago. Changed, manipulated, reshaped over the millennia. Now, I did a little bit of an about face on that. Maybe some of them were like, that one definitely looks like a Kothon. That's Virginia right there. Now, what I'm going to do is show you a diagram of a Kothon right now. I mean, I'm just saying, if you listen to Golden Ladle, a couple months back, he had a lecture he shared about Stephen M. Collins, and he does same type of work that Barry Fell did. That's the Carthaginian. That's actually in Carthage. That's the ancient Kothan, the original OG one. Just what they look like. Is it possible? Now that's Jamestown. What do you guys think? You know, it's was the Atlantic seaboard, Phoenicians? Stephen M. Collins, like I cited in his book, The Lost Ten Tribes of Israel, found, he cites that they were over here in 1000 BC. And I don't think that that's a stretch of too stretch of the imagination to say that. That I think that all that history has been hidden. And if I could show at least in one example that it wasn't Buffalo, then their whole narrative is shot, you know, allegedly. What else do I got here? So not only that gravy, I found the chimney video that I started out with they're taking stuff down and disassembling a star fort. Well, what do they do with all of it? How can they render it? Can they mine it? Are they just using it for other construction? Well, this might be an answer. Smokestacks have another purpose, another feature, and this is what it is. Listen up.
Location in the city of Sudbury on a quiet residential street.
In the city of Sudbury, so I believe that that's Canada.
Location in the city of Sudbury on a quiet residential street. Virtually in the shadow of what is said to be the world's highest smokestack. The reason it's so high is to take the pollution up and away from the city and residents, but also serves another purpose. A few people know about the particulate.
Oh yeah, what's that?
The particulate that falls back down into the stack, and when it's cleared out, has very high content of minerals and metals. And when retrieved, it's worth a great sum of money. And retrieved.
Go again, your last, homie?
And when retrieved, it's worth a great sum of money.
There you go.
The Sudbury mines are now down. It's worth a great sum of money.
Okay, so let's extrapolate on that a little bit. The particulate falls back down and it compacts itself into a gentleman. I've never heard of that before ever. I showed this back in the day on a interview I had with Philip, and the volume was low. I'm still fledgling now. I was real greenhorn then. So when I did show that, Philip said he couldn't hear it. So that was my bad, but I sit on a lot of my information and I don't always fire it out right away. When I shared this with Philip, I don't think anybody heard it. So we know that nursery rhymes have a lot to do, Ring Around the Rosie, and where that stems from back in the day, the Black Plague. Now, this makes me think of patty cake, bake me a batch, because effectively it would be a cylindrical patty cake of, the guy said, about a lot of money. So what was the actual nursery rhyme patty cake from? Off the top of my head, please don't, if you put it in the comment sections, but is that what patty cakes are? When they mine stuff down or disassemble, for example, like a Vauban-style fortress in, I don't know, for example, Buffalo, they can render back the material back from the minerals that are within it by doing just that. So smokestacks are not just for getting pollution up and over the city. Actually, you can mine the minerals out of it. So the dust, if you will. I thought that was very cool. All right, so back to Buffalo and all my work. What else? You guys got any questions? Let's see. Let's go back into the chat. Sorry, I'm kind of neglecting you guys here. Let's put up a good picture or play a video. Again, we can bushwhack my desktop here. But if anybody's got questions, I'm going to peep up into the chat. And thanks for stopping by. Oh yeah, here we go. Look at this thing. Archimedes' death ray. Okay, so it's about baking. Yeah, definitely. Bible reading bear says yes. I always thought it's about baking. So I think that, in my opinion, it might have to do with those patty cakes um, that he was referencing in that video. Like if you burn, you could burn anything. I got a bunch of those chimneys that I can actually access and get to here in Buffalo. So I wonder. Yeah, yep. They're round. Okay, so I put out the idea that Erie Basin Marina is an old star fort. I have much work to do on that. I got to get back up to the falls with Tommy. What we're going to do, my next one is going to lay a little gravy. We're going to be at the whirlpool. If you can believe it, me and the fellas actually. Danny, I wonder if you ever did this. Hey, PT Repa, Paolo, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, to catch it is pointed up, but it's catching the sun and using it to heat oil. It's a it's solar energy effectively. I could forward that to you on IG, Paulo. So Danny, I want to ask you, dude, if you ever climb down. So when I get up here and go probably with Tommy, because I'll do the Star Fort with Danny. But if you go to this Whirlpool State Park, back in the day, they had right at this little area right here off the ledge. Oh, about 20 years ago, they had a like a climbing apparatus where there was cables and everything strewn attached into the cliff face, and you could actually hop right over the railing, like right here, and climb down it. And we used to do that all the time as kids. Tommy can definitely vouch for me on that one, co-sign that one. Not that I'm bullshitting. Ever, you guys know what you're getting with me. I'm always shooting straight, but that's some crazy ass shit. And people who were there, like tourists who were walking by and everything, 5, 6 dudes would just roll up, hop right over here, and climb down these cables. Extremely dangerous. If you ever hear, don't ever do that, because that has been since washed out. It all kind of fell down. Things actually, this is always eroding, and at a very hard rain, waterfalls come off of here, and that area forget where it is. It probably fell a while ago, but it's no longer there. And when I get back up there, I'll show you the spot with Tommy that we actually hopped over this place, probably like right here. And people will go nuts. They'd be like, "Where are you going?" We'd be like, "We'll see you down there." You can get down there from stairs, but we would go the short route. Hey, Sasha, welcome. Good to see you. You're welcome. Thank you for stopping by. This is kind of an impromptu firing from the hip episode. I wanted to get out an idea, and I think I did. Erie Basin Marina, the Buffalo, was probably and most likely old Star Fort, and it's being hidden. Look at that gravy. Again, when I read these, there's no. It just says this is an entrance to a tunnel. It doesn't say in the reading around it in the excerpt what tunnel it is, where it is. It's just some old world gravy, and it's all around Buffalo. Okay, so we got work with Danny. I got work at the falls with Tommy. Also, if Rad Bear is up in here, I appreciate that, Randy Weathers. Thank you, because I don't know if I'm just talking crazy here or not. So when I get that feedback, I appreciate it. Very informative. Thank you. And then all the way out to Rochester and Oswego, because again, like I said, my buddy Rad Bear lives out here, and there's some serious gravy in Rochester. Oh, let's show you the numerology here in Buffalo. So Rochester, we have Batavia. I have to go to, which is very historical for Ellicott, Joseph Ellicott, who allegedly made these radio patterns that you see, at least in Buffalo. But the original Buffalo Batavia Road went from the bend in the Tonawanda Creek, which is literally right here, and you got the radial pattern right here. Now I'm going to show you a quick little lesson in the importance of the numerology in this area, which is why I think Buffalo is so important. This whole western door, it has a lot of old money because this was the western door coming from New York City. In order to get to the west, you had to go through Buffalo, and it was heavily industrialized. Now let's go. Let me show you something. That henge that I showed you earlier. Let's drop a pin from it and go out to Batavia. Now, before that road was put in, I think it's Genesee Road now, in between Batavia and Buffalo, it was an old ley line, an old Indian road, and it was very tough and difficult. And Ellicott, Joseph Ellicott, is the one who's responsible for laying that road, and the gentleman named Ransom, last name of Ransom. And you have a lot of numerology here in and around Buffalo. Not only is the Niagara River 36 miles long, it drops 333 feet in elevation. And from the henge at the Erie Basin Marina, okay. Okay. Bear with me, y'all. Batavia. Can we get any guesses? What do we think? Yeah. Okay, we're going out to Batavia. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? The next radio. Check it. Probably was a Vauban-style over here. To the bend, and we'll go to the radio. Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's right on the money. I mean, you got to be kidding me. C. Vasilis, you're right, bro. Allegedly. So I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything attributing any kind of negative with this whatsoever. We do know that certain groups like to use these numbers. I just think that it's a representation of the fact that the logos is baked in, and it just comes out with these 369s, and they obviously know that too. So that's great. They're giving props to Most High, in my opinion, and I'm neither for nor against any Masons or Rosicrucians. I know my faith. I'm Christian. You guys know that. I know where I stand. And when I say that I'm not against it, meaning that I'm not going to stand up and make myself a target for no reason. Certainly, if I'm affronted on my family, I'll handle my business. I'm not going to make myself a enemy of something for no reason. And I don't even know if their intentions are bad. Everybody likes to say that. It's funny. The best thing to do is just what C. Vasilis did is, keep it moving. To be having some comedic overtone or a comedic undertone with it always helps to break the tension as well. That's why I'm a Bear. I'm a big fan of Owen Benjamin and the Bears. You guys all know that he's a comedian, and comedians break tension, especially in the zeitgeist of what's going on right now. And a lot of the shit that he said back in the day and got banned for, people are copying right now. So that's all I'll say. And it matters not to me whether you like the Bears or Owen or you're a fan. Doesn't matter whatsoever. You guys can do whatever you please, and I respect that, and I would just ask that you guys respect me. I know there's a lot of uh, I guess trolls out there against everybody, so just use your own discernment. And you guys know where I'm coming from. I'm level with you, and I appreciate all the love that you give back to me. And when I get feedback like that, a lot of very informative, I do appreciate that because believe it or not, I don't get really too much feedback other than you guys, the comments and the support that I get from you. So it's reciprocal. I appreciate that. Yeah, he gets it for sure. Just you know, go to a comedy club back in the early '90s. He just didn't stop. He just didn't stop being like that. You know, what do you say, brutal? Not like a brutal comedian, but he goes hard on the comedic level. So okay, Buffalo, Niagara Falls to Batavia to Rochester. What other cool stuff can I show you guys without giving too much away? Yeah, a lot of pictures. I don't want to go too crazy on this. Get too redundant. Oh yeah, let's show this again. So my last one for the Seiche, the standing wave, I showed a clip of what seems to be a giant eel in Lake Michigan. Again, riddles in the water. What do you guys think about this? You guys remember this one? Hey Danny, what are these are the what is that your YouTube channel, homie? Definitely share it out, but just let us know what it is. Okay, look at check that. What do you guys think? Oh no, no, no. So this is a wavy day on Lake Michigan, and it looks like a giant American eel just gets washed up onto a pier. So you want to talk about riddles in the H2O? Boy, I've swam in these waters a lot. Lake Erie, I don't mind fresh water, but that's creepy. And these lakes are inland seas. That's what I was getting at with the Phoenicians. We'll track back to that, Barry Fell and Stephen M. Collins in Ancient America to tell this out. But yeah, this is a realm that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. And in my opinion, those things aren't supposed to be that big in this water. That looks like it was a good 30 feet long. And those, if that's an American eel, you know, let's do that. This is hip fire. Guys sticking with me. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that. Um, Eels, American water. Let's see. American eel. American eel. American eel. This is crazy. Yeah, exactly, dude. See, but there's so much water, and it's so that's one of the next clips I'm going to show. Is these are like inland seas. Now, I'm not saying that 100% for sure that the Phoenicians were here. They had Kothon ring ports, but it's a possibility. And if it's a possibility, I'll find evidence of it. Give me enough time. It's got to still be here. Like, look at that. They were disassembling a star fort straight up. That's you get a gut feeling sometimes, you know, when you're motivated by what's good, true, and beautiful. He gives you a sixth sense. And, you know, there's a good truth drop that just gave me an idea to play. And I forget what I was doing again. Oh yeah, American eel. So that looks to me like a giant. Let's see if we can get in screen. All right, yo, it's floppy. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, yeah, I think that that's what we're looking at. Now we don't exactly. There's so much water. C. bacillus, like you said. Um, like I believe so. Scott Walters thinks the same. And you know what's on that notion, bacillus peep game. Why do Phoenician ships look so familiar or so similar to Viking longships? Why is that? completely separate cultures from completely different areas. This leads me to think that the sea peoples, let's go to it. Mine as well. And this is how I'll tell out in the riddles in the water. So, who are the sea peoples? I would advise watching this documentary from History Time. I thought it was Timeline. So, this is a timeline or History Time documentary on the sea peoples. Mainstream academia does not know who they were specifically. They may have been from Sardinia. They may have been, some people might even speculate they may have been Vikings. That's up for debate. Some people think that they were Phoenicians or in cahoots with the Phoenicians because after they had their attack in 1177 BC on the Eastern Mediterranean and Egypt and all that area, after their attacks were done, the superpower that came out of that was Phoenician. And that's historically, well, per history, that's historically accurate, but they don't know where they came from. What I'm trying to say is just what you said, Bacillus, that I don't, so that's a possibility. I've heard that that's a possibility. I don't think so. I wouldn't like to see. I'm not attributing good or bad to either the Vikings or the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians did come from Canaan, and we'll get on that at another time. But I've heard of that. Are the Phoenicians the Vikings? In my opinion, I don't think so. I think they're specifically different. But I could say that I do think BB, what's up? If that's BB, what up? I doubt it, but what I'm going to say and propose a proposition is if they don't know where the sea peoples came from, and Barry Fell is saying that Basques and Basque Phoenicians and yada yada were here. In my opinion, I think in with trying to find that the foundation of that star fort, South Buffalo, the sea peoples may have came from North America, from the Great Lakes. Now, I'd be hard pressed, and I think you guys would be hard pressed to find any academic research out there, at least in the open, that has said that or even proposed that. I might get laughed at out of the auditorium if I were to say that in front of some, Dunning Kruger, whatever, academia. So, in my opinion, and what I'll try to line up in conjunction with finding old world artifacts as far as infrastructure and layout is the sea peoples might have been from the Great Lakes, because not only that, we're layering some evidence here of masts and mastodons. Now, masts is that's kind of a pun, mast because it's on the sea, I guess, but mast with sailors, and is that kind of a hidden in plain sight type of deal? Anyway, there's a mastodon geoglyph underneath Lake Michigan, the same Lake Michigan that we've seen that eel in. So it says obviously that that's a possible mastodon from when prior to the glaciation receding formed these lakes. Certainly, yes, it's a possibility. I think it might be a Phoenician war elephant, maybe. With the work of Barry Fell, with what I'm doing now, Stephen M. Collins, Ancient America, that could possibly be a war elephant, Phoenician war elephant. Purple cloth hanging all over it, of course, Phoenician red. That's kind of a joke, but kind of not. Phoenician red is Tyrian purple, and it's one of the markets actually that the Phoenicians had that market cornered, that mercantilism cornered, is the purple color that they would extract from shells. So Tyrian purple that you see on the Roman emperors, that comes from a seashell. Seashell, and I believe like female urine. They have to let it bake in the sun, if I'm correct. But anyway, it was very highly sought after. Tyrian purple. It's also Tyrian purple is also Phoenician red. It's a purple color, but it's called Phoenician red. I'm not sure the actual nexus of the etymology of that, but it comes from seashells in the Eastern Mediterranean, and that's the market they held on lock, and is what kept them in such power. One of them, or one of the merchant businesses that kept them in going for so long, is Tyrian purple. So I think the sea peoples came from the New World, and that's what I'll try to put out there. So riddles in the water, guys. Buffalo from the Eastern Mediterranean. Oh, you know what? Let's do that. Triangle, and then we'll do riddles in the water. Northeast triangle. Okay, so let's keep in mind that, oh, you know what? The henge that's in Buffalo, Erie Basin Marina. I don't know if I can propose that right now. Let's not. Okay, so riddles in the water, again, from southern Buffalo up to Niagara Falls, out to Rochester. I got a lot of work to do. Danny's going to be going with me to the Erie Basin Marina, at the vanished Star Fort Vauban-style fortress. We got that work to do. Tommy from the Eternal Flame episode will be coming with me to Niagara Falls, the whirlpool. I'll show you guys the actual place where we lipped over and climbed down that place, and on out to down the Erie Canal in Rochester with Rad Bear. If you're here, Rad Bear, yo, C. Vasilis, good seeing you. Thanks for stopping by. I might be clipped. Maybe I should be back by the time you get back. Yeah, coalition. That's right. I have a network here. So, a lot more to come. My next video will be a reading from chapter 1 and 2 of Echoes in the Mist. Check out my IG, and you can get to my IG from the top rocker picture on my YouTube channel. You come over here and hit IG, and obviously you go to IG. Also, my backup. Let's plug that. Odyssey is odyssey.com/@berserkerbear1:9. You can see that. I'll put that in the description for you. Also, I'm going to plug my old but true MeWe site. So this is where I put a lot of my research as well. The Realm Earth Research Group on MeWe, autodidactic. If you post anything up here, has to have a description, has to relate to some of the old world research. No fear porn, nothing about what's going on currently right now, certain medical thing going on. That is not allowed here whatsoever. No fear porn. If anything is posted, you have to put a detail of it. I post most of my pictures from my videos here, and you must have a MeWe user account, and you have to be invited, because there's a lot of people in this group, but not a lot of people actually contribute. I need more help here. I'm trying to get some bears up in here, and thank you, Campbell of Autodidactic, for setting this up. I run it. Calum is a mod, and so is Mr. Brees. You have to be invited. There are a lot of members, and some of them I had to weed out. Okay, I run a really tight ship. Some people came in and in the beginning and were bad seeds, and I took care of that. If there's any kind of pulp or any kind of fear porn, it gets deleted immediately. No personal solicitations between contributors unless it's strictly research related. We have a very open chat, very cool. People help out. So if you're interested, you can do the work that I do in your own backyard. I was really about that when I first started doing my work. I kind of got away from it a little bit because it's so much to juggle, and I was getting a little bit of troll action here. So that's stamped out. It's actually where I met D Hood, through here. So go check it out. If you have a MeWe, hit me up on IG, DM me, be professional. Of course, obviously, anybody who's watching this, I would presume that you are above board. Okay, excuse me, but DM me on IG, and I will send you a link, and you could be invited. You could do this work here that we do in your own backyard. If you have an old city, or even if you're out in the boons somewhere, check out that railroad or check out that quarry. We need your help. Like one of the comments here said that we're networking. Yeah, we are networking the realm, and we could do it with this thing. Thank you for bearing with me. All right, so without further ado, check out all that. I'll be putting out a newer video soon, bushwhacking that star fort, reading from that book, and trying to find out the riddles in the water. And let's see what you guys got going on over here. Thank you, Sue Bacillus. Thanks for stopping by. Another great talk. Everybody go check out C. Vasilis's channel. He's one of the dudes that initially inspired me to get out and do my boots on the ground. So paying it forward, brother. Let's see. I need to know more research here. Akron. Okay. There you go. Yeah. If I can inspire just one person to get out there and do some of this work like I'm doing in their own city, I got it made. So yeah, there you go. D Hood is my fellow Buffalonian old world researcher. So good dude. He's got the motivation. He's got the eye for it. He's got the eye for the old world. Thank you, Randy. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Again, thank you, Bible Reading Bear, for the super chat. So cool. Oh my word. Yeah, easy with that, my guy. This is adult here, but it's above board and professional. So, all right, with that, let's close out with Riddles in the Water, a cool scene from a good movie, older movie, Eddie Murphy movie, The Golden Child, and the idea and the notion that all the lakes, save from Lake Ontario, all the runoff, like Gordon Lightfoot says in the Edmund Fitzgerald song, great song. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down to the big lake they call Gitchagumi, and that's Lake Superior. So all the runoff, everything that gets accumulated into this system, funnels right down through the strait at Niagara. We have a star fort of Old Fort Erie. There is not one in Buffalo that we know of. Your boy Berserker Bear is going to find the remnants of it, and D Hood. So stick with me and stay tuned. From riddles in the water to infrastructure that's anomalous, that's possibly old world indicative. I'm going to be trying to get this information to you. Why does the dough in Buffalo rise so much? Again, I said it before. We don't only have the best chicken wings, we have the best pizza because of the dough. The dough rises because the minerals in the water. The water holds the memory. We got truth drops from Disney and Frozen singing about where the north wind meets the sea. There's a river full of memory. You got the experiment of Dr. Emoto showing how people's emotions, that's kind of weird, could be a psyop. People's thoughts can influence how water freezes. So I got a lot of work. I appreciate you guys being with me. After I play this little clip from The Golden Child, Truth Drop About Water, we're going to end it. So let's see. Old. Come back in the chat, say what's up. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We can use that information, Vasilis, because we do have. I've always heard from when I was a kid that the minerals in our water, and like you seen in that clip earlier, it's very mineral rich, which is why we have that green emerald color. That's why I call it the Emerald Channel. You guys learned that earlier. Why is that? Does that also happen with your soul, or effervescence makes the dough rise? Can that also occur in your body or your mental state? I believe that it could. Okay, I believe 100% that it does. I think Ghostbusters 2 was an inverted truth drop in that sense when they got the evil ooze going through underneath the city, making people manifest evil. So, what if you had benevolent water running under a city? Why are we called a city of good neighbors? Why do psyops come here to die? Nothing really happens here in Buffalo other than just crushing. John Fogerty was right in the song Rock and Roll Girls when he said that he wanted to shuffle off to Buffalo and sit by the lake and soak in the sun. That dude knew something. So, anyway, thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate all your love and support. Please hit the like button. Yes. Thank you, Bible Reading Bear. Sheila, Sister Bear. All right. So, yeah, thanks again for stopping by, everybody. Keep a heads up for my next one. Will be a reading, and then we got more work with D Hood, and we'll hopefully maybe one day in the spring, Vasilis and Woody and I can get together for Boots on the Ground. So, for me to you, watch your six, keep it sleuthing, and as always, I will report back. Let's do a truth drop from the Golden Child. After this, I'm going to end it. Much love. God bless y'all. Thanks again.
Must be Carol Merrill. Don't spill any water. This is crazy.
Keep your thought as pure as the water.
Hey, this water ain't really that pure.
Neither are you. I give you this advice. Stay on the path.
You got it. I'm so afraid of the dark, too.